What is up? So today I want to talk about a awesome little lesson, an insight to how I plan on making $1 million from my fitness studio or my AKA gym business. So as you might seen or will see videos of me talking about the gym business, and I really go into all the different types and variety of gym businesses. And I actually made this video on how to make $1 million in the gym business. But what I found myself kind of explaining is the process of how you make money in the fitness and gym business to begin with. And I think it's a better lesson to explain how I plan on doing it. And then I can make a video talking about the other ways you can go about it in different gym business avenues. So first and foremost, if this is the first time you're watching this, my name is Nick Page. I'm the owner of the fitness studio called The Trainer Page, and we are on a mission to show our members the mental benefits of working out through our large group sweat therapy sessions. And currently, we are growing, which is amazing. We are just about to hit 350 members. We are on pace to have our fourth best month of the year and ever within the company history. I've been doing this for 6 years. And it wasn't until the end of 2022 when I finally got really clear and focused on what we need to be done, where now we've had almost 400% growth since that December of 2022. Classic. So now, compounding all the lessons I've learned, I now have a more clear way, a map of where, our really big next milestone. So the first milestone we essentially are about to hit is becoming a quote 7-figure studio. That is where your business is making enough money month over month to qualify to make $1 million in top line revenue. So that sounds really cool and it's like, woohoo, you're a 7-figure business owner. But the real question is, are you actually making money? Because you could be running a $10 million business, but make no money. And that's stupid. So the idea in business is to make things simple and scalable and profitable. Now, what you may discover, and I'll probably make a video on, is the fitness studio space isn't essentially the space to get quote unquote ultra wealthy unless you have a 30 to 50 year plan. And I'll probably make a video on that. So the lesson and what probably made you want to watch this video is how does Nick plan on making $1 million in the fitness studio space? And you might be saying, because I want to do that because I'm a gym owner or I'm an aspiring gym owner and I want to learn how to make that type of money. And you'll see in this video and other videos, I kind of explain how. So let's get into the plan. So just for context, we are not doing this yet, but I am optimistic and ambitious. So I plan on getting there eventually, right? The biggest thing is having aggressive patience, following the process, doing one thing at a time, celebrating the small wins. I can go on and on and on about that. I'm blissfully dissatisfied with where we're at, and my team knows where we're trying to get to, and they know they have the opportunity to continue to grow and get us there. So, let's get into it. Now, make sure you can see this just again. So, how I plan on doing it. So, one of the biggest levers that I pulled was being able to create one service, right? And that is our sweat therapy sessions, right? Our large group training classes. That is the only thing we do in our studio, right? We do a lot of that within the service, right? Holding our members accountable. We add a ton of value to our membership, which allows us to charge more than our competitors, right? So for context, our average price point is from $239 to $199 per month. I would say the average dollar per member is around $179. And essentially, with that was a huge way for us to hyper focus on the customer service and fulfillment, right? The actual product itself. Saying, oh, I baked a cookie and I'm actually eating it because I love it so much. And then what happens is you give it to other people and they're like, oh my God, your cookies are so good. Can I have more? I'm gonna go tell my friend about your cookies. I want your cookie. If you have a business, you need to make sure your cookie is the best cookie in the area and you are constantly improving that as best to your abilities, right? Whether it's making little extra sprinkles, right? Whether throwing a little sugar in there, right? Doing something to make it always better and getting feedback from your people eating the cookie. How can I make my cookie better? I think if you added some chocolate sprinkles, that'll be good. I'm gonna add chocolate sprinkles and get feedback on that, right? So when we hyper focus on one service, right? Or as I say, you're gonna notice I say one service, one product. I like saying product, right? One product, which is our service. We're able to sell it at a high capability. We know exactly how to talk about it. It's simple, it's clear. And that's one thing I learned, right? One product, one client avatar, right? One type of person we're selling to, with our audience, right? The members we want to serve, and just doing that on repeat, okay? So with that being said, so that is the first game plan of where we're able to scale. Next, right, focusing on having such a good product and service that we're able to retain our members for a long time, right? It's not always about getting new members, it's about retaining your members. So how can you make your product, your cookie, so good that people are gonna buy it every single month and be happy about it and wanna buy it and be excited and lose weight from eating your cookie? Because if you have that type of cookie, you and me should talk, because we should start a cookie business for weight loss. That would do billions with a B. So now, going into then dollar per member, right? How can you add mini little revenue streams to maximize your dollar, right? Selling more, right? The more people buy, the more they're gonna stay with you. It is a proven fact. So having the ability to sell merchandise, extra waters, extra protein shakes, whatever you can. And having that on a consistent basis, running internal challenges, right, like we do. And then upselling people into nutrition, which essentially there soon will be a company that you can just essentially partner with, and they pay you a percentage of the money they generate from your members per month. So your members are gonna get extra service, they're gonna stay with you longer, and you're gonna get paid as a gym owner to do virtually nothing. That's coming soon. That is the second company I'm working on. Having that there, right? Then having an amazing internal culture, right? Your external culture of your clients is only gonna be affected from your internal culture. So how is your internal culture of your employees, your staff, even if there's 3 of you? Are you guys cool, right? Do you guys have a set of values you live by, that you believe? Do you have a mission you're following like we do, right? And actually talking about your wins and having the leader or leaders praising their other workers, the people that do report to them, how good they're doing, making them feel proud, fulfilled, making sure they're getting paid fairly, understanding where their opportunity is to grow with you, right? When you have a kick-ass internal culture, that's just gonna resonate with your members, which is your member culture, which essentially makes the experience and the fulfillment even better, which will lead to more referrals, which is word of mouth marketing, the best marketing you can ever have in the world, right? Where you're not constantly looking back going, I need better leads, right? Well, it's like, who are you trying to serve, right? And there's all this stuff that goes into it. So having an amazing internal culture leads to having amazing external culture. It means you're gonna help more people, and they will spread the word for you, making growth easier. And if they're not leaving, growth will become exponential, okay? Then leaders and opportunities. So with this, having A players, really awesome people on your team, knowing exactly what they're doing, knowing that the opportunity they see, knowing they serve a purpose, right? And understanding that they have an opportunity to grow within your company, and also being able to continue and just open up the door for making bigger opportunities, help more people, making more money for themselves, and things like that. And then simplicity. So I kind of been talking in the third person. I don't know, English was not my good subject, but this is what essentially I'm doing in my studio. So to reflect, we have our sweat therapy classes, right? We're aiming to always keep our attrition, right, or the percentage of people we lose month over month, as low as possible to increase our lifetime value, and adding little things in there to increase the dollar per member, right? We are constantly pursuing, I'm focused on having an amazing internal culture, making the right hires, making the right fires, and having the right onboarding for new employees, and also doing things and having the team focus on the external culture with their clients and building more connections, sharing more wins, doing things like that. Then I have an amazing team of leaders, right? I've been patient and discovered, okay, who do I need to find? What type of personality do they need to have? What skills do they need to have? What do I need to train them? How do I communicate with them, right? How can I teach my awesome person to be an awesome person for other awesome person, and lead them and take ownership in what they're doing, understand that they serve a purpose. Their result of what their work do actually will impact more lives and help more people and help the business grow, making them win, right? And then keeping it simple. So this is really where we are gonna learn how I plan to make $1 million in the gym business. So, simplicity. Because I have all this, still building all this and working on this, and super grateful for it, and blissfully dissatisfied, now it's building a playbook, right? So taking every single part from A to Z on how the business is ran and creating it in a playbook. So now we have this magical book with all the directions so we can now scale once we see, okay, when do we gotta open location number 2? So let's bring it back. So my studio right now, we are on pace to hit that 7-figure mark, right? Now, the question is, I don't have it written down, but what is the market cap? What is the cap, the client cap? I don't think market cap actually, that market cap is not, that sounds a lot cooler than, and is not needed in this video. But what is the capacity? And this is the one question I constantly am putting on my team. How big can we grow where we are still giving our clients the same, if not better, experience, even though the classes are bigger and there's more people being served, right? And what ends up happening is sometimes bigger isn't better. And what you discover is, even though your top line revenue, so your business is making more money, but you have more people to serve and there's more headaches, more systems, more leadership, more operations, you end up paying more people and you end up needing more resources, to where, yes, you're making $1.2 million in top line, but you're only making 20% profit margins, which essentially is around $240,000 in profit over the year. But if you were to keep it at $1 million and keep a 35% profit margin, you are now making $350,000 profit. So at the end of the day, are you looking to say, oh, I have a $1.2 million business, but we only make a 20% profit, aka making $240,000 a year in profit? Or are you trying to have a little less people to worry about, and you can focus more time and energy on your members and say, oh, I have $1 million business and we actually profit 35%. Now I make $350,000, right? So that is where we are currently at. How much can we grow where our numbers are still consistent? How can we still increase our profit margins, right? Can we still increase our member base, right? But there is a point where we might realize maybe we got to cut back and not serve as many people and increase our price to, by a little, to get rid of the clients that aren't essentially really valuing what our service is meant to be for them, right? And when we do find that tipping point, now, so my team is focused on growth. And once we do hit that tipping point, now it's, okay, how consistent can we be doing that, right? What I mean by that is how long, can we go 6 months? And what's the data? What are the numbers, right? How consistent is a profit margin? What expenses are up and popping up, right? Do we have to make any cutbacks? Do we need to invest in other things? Can we serve more people and just increase our top line revenue? And the biggest challenge right now is, okay, how big can we make our facility? What does our top line revenue need to get to, maintaining a healthy profit margin? Because the second we grow too much and we have to cut into our profit margins, we're actually losing, and more isn't actually better. So my philosophy, right, my plan is, how can we get our studio to profit roughly over $330,000 a year, right? So breaking that down, so let's just say 350 is the number, we divide it by 12, that is a roughly almost $30,000 a month in pure profit, right? And that's after all expenses, right? That's a lot, that is a challenge, right? But you take a lot of risk with it, and the big risk, big reward, right? Because as you grow, I want to be able to pay my people better. I want to be able to help them serve members better. But we also want to make sure the lifeline of the business is better, because the more capital and resources we have, the more we can scale. So once we hit that cap of where, maybe we are at that point, or maybe we're not, right? The question is, how big and profitable can we be by keeping everything simple? Now, once we have data there, right, how consistent we can be for 6 to 12 months, right? And that means, yes, sacrificing some extra growth and seeing the consistency of our numbers and team and systems, and seeing, okay, how can we now, once we have this dialed in, right, and that playbook is really secured, constantly evolving through marketing and what's going on with AI and, all this stuff in the world. Now it's, okay, how do we grow into location number 2 by mitigating as much risk as possible, right? How can we grow a second location by not taking on as much risk as we did when we first started the business, where I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I actually have an amazing team that wants to grow and continue. It's the who, what chart. Who's going to fill what needs to get done, who needs to do it, and who's going to take that responsibility. What's the reward for taking that responsibility, the risk, and all these things. What are the numbers? What are the pre-sales, right? And there's a new level of there's a new side of business that we need to learn, right? Pre-sale, going into a new market. So now we're gonna forecast. My focus in my position, right, is making sure we have all these systems and processes built out and ready to launch, right? And make sure we have the resources to back all this up. And now we're gonna go, okay, how do we scale to a second location? So the first thing people think is, start from the ground up, build it up, right? But you can actually you can buy a failing or doing a mediocre fitness studio in the right market. The market always wins. In order to have the most successful hot dog stand, you must have a starving crowd. It doesn't matter how good or bad your hot dogs are. If you're not in a starving crowd, your hot dogs won't sell. And we've learned that lesson where we are in our market, right? Gratefully, we're growing because we've hyper-focused so much on our client and our client avatar and our what we do for our members and the culture we have, that we actually beat the odds. I can confidently say most gym owners, I don't think would succeed in the location we're at because we're in a low-income area, we are in a basement, and we have no money to back us up, right, in the beginning, right? It was all me just taking all the risk and going into debt and not paying myself and doing all this shit, but I had the resources, the ability, because I have no obligations. I don't have kids. I'm in a relationship, I'm not married, right? I don't own a house. I lived with my parents, right? I took that risk at a young age, hence why I was able to take that type of risk, right? Now, let's say I were to find a location in the right market and we were to bring the trainer page to that location, right? And completely basically flip it into our location, right? Now we have a base of members that we can potentially convert. We probably have a list of leads that we can potentially sell in, and then we can start fresh, run a pre-sale, run our systems, a process thing. And now it's rinse and repeat. Starting from the ground up, having set criteria, okay, what needs to be done, from the start to growth. Now it's okay, again, do we see this facility hitting the same numbers as location number one? And that's another area to look into when we pursue a second location, the size, the service, right? Who we need, the people. Once that's done, right, now we have location number two, and let's just say in the course of 2 years, all right, being super patient, right? So it's right now it is April of 2024, right? So let's say not until September of 2025. That is when we've taken 6 months of data of consistent effort and work to see how much we can grow and maintain and things like that, right? Now, it is September 2025, we pursue location number two, and let's say now it's January of 2027, right? January of 2028, right? I'm being realistic here. Okay, now by January 2028, we did the exact same thing, but now we shortcut it because we had the playbook, right? So 2 years, let's just say. Now, both facilities are making $350,000 in profit a year, all right? Now you times that by 2. Now we're at $700,000 in profit a year. Okay, now again, rinse and repeat. Find a facility that's not doing well, acquire it, or start from the ground up, whatever we feel is like the most feasible but mitigating risk. Same exact process, right? But now again, 3 locations now. There's gonna be a regional manager, someone who is already managing 2 locations, now gonna have to manage a third. Do we bring in a assistant regional manager? Do we have our general managers of each location? And then do we have a growth manager plus a regional manager to support the initial growth, right? There's all these things to worry about. And then essentially a year and a half later, 16 months later, now it is, so we said January 2028. So now it is June, or let's say September of 2029. We now have a facility at almost capacity, 80-90% capacity. We're making, let's just say, $315,000 a year in profit. Congratulations, we are now a facility that essentially makes roughly $3 million top line, but we have a business that is profiting $1 million, right? So that is essentially how I plan on building my fitness studio to generate $1 million in profit through 3 locations. Essentially, we want all 3 locations to be making roughly $1 million in top line with roughly 35% profit margins, which is really aggressive. Some people who are in business might be thinking, I don't think that's possible. Congratulations. I do the impossible, hence my YouTube channel. And with that, we essentially can now hit this capacity, right? And then if we were to ever look into sell to possibly a bigger fitness fitness company that sees what we're doing and feels that they can scale it even more than what we're able to and give bigger and better opportunities to my staff and really fulfill our mission because of the proof of what they have, but they're a massive company. Because I have all my systems and processes dialed in, and as an owner, I'm not as involved, I'm more above the business, right? Making, helping for future casting. If it by, January of 2033, 2035, we have 4 to 5 years of consistent growth in these numbers. Because of that, they would evaluate my business at a higher multiple. So they do it off your profit. So it might be a 4, 5, 6x multiple. And so it can come in, buy the company for $5 million, $6 million. And then essentially they would take the company over and lead it in the right direction to scale it, whether it's a franchise, whether it's, just opening more locations. Or if I feel like we really, after 3 locations, have it dialed in on how to open a new location and continue to grow, when we see the opportunity, we will just continue to do that and minimize the time it takes us to build out and fill that facility and grow it to our cap. So the opportunities are endless, but our first step is become a 7-figure studio, which we are on pace and on track to hit. See how big and profitable we can make it by keeping things simple, right? Then build the infrastructure, find the team, and make sure, okay, where's the second opportunity to pursue? Do it, rinse and repeat, learn the lessons, right? Fail, learn the lessons, evolve, get to where we need to, and then boom, location number 3 is probably gonna be easier than opening the second location number 2 because we already experienced what it is to go from 1 to 2. And when we go from 1 to 2, it's a lot easier to go from 2 to 3, theoretically. And gratefully I have friends and people who've done this who can support me on that mission. So that is how I plan on making $1 million in the gym business in straight profit out of 3 locations. So thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment your questions, and if you hate on me, tell me, because that's fuel to the fire, baby. So have a great rest of your day, and like, subscribe, do the impossible. I'll see you on the other side.